Okay, boys, it is time that we had a frank discussion, Lolita to male viewer, about how a boy should interact with and approach a Lolita girlfriend or a Lolita he might be interested in dating. Now, contrary to the popular belief of 4chan, Lolitas have been capable of carrying on successful relationships. But there's a few things that guys should keep in mind if they are dating Lolitas, especially guys who may not be particularly interested in or knowledgeable about the fashion. So, what I have done this week is I have actually compiled a few key points of advice I'd like to go over with any guy who is in a relationship with a Lolita. The first 2 points that I think are of the most importance for any guy who is walking into a relationship with a girl who is interested in Lolita fashion is, first off, it's a fashion. It's not based on the novel, it's not based on the fetish, okay? Lolita the fetish and Lolita the novel are based around the idea of, well, pedophilia, okay? It's based around, being sexually aroused by little girls, which, I'm not interested in, and I don't think many people are interested in unless you kind of got problems. But Lolita the fashion is based around the aesthetics and ideals of the Victorian era, and a lot of the clothing is based around modesty and being beautiful by not showing a lot of skin. That is Lolita the fashion. Now, if you've gotten this far and realized that the girl you're pursuing or dating is into the fashion and not the fetish, well, good for you, you're on the right track. But if she's into the other thing, then maybe it's time you started looking for a different romantic prospect. The second most important point is that you need to keep in mind that we are aware that we look ridiculous to some people or out of place to some people. We don't need you to point that out to us. It does not make you look like an open-minded or considerate boyfriend to point out how strange your girlfriend looks every time she's about to head out the door in Lolita. I'm in no way saying that you have to like Lolita, because there's plenty of boyfriends and Lolitas in relationships who will say that their significant others or husbands don't really approve of the fashion. It's not their thing. That's fine, but that doesn't give you the right to, make comments. And you may not like Lolita, and you may not have a lot of knowledge about it, but if you keep watching this video, my next tips are going to be about how you can learn more about the fashion and be more involved with this new cultural aspect of your significant other's life. Tip number 1 is understanding the investment, both financially and with time. Lolita is a very expensive hobby, so I think it's important that boyfriends understand that Lolita costs a lot of money. A brand dress can cost, $350 depending on how popular the print is. So you need to understand and respect that your girlfriend might not choose to spend her money on the things you think might be important, but this is important to her because she spends a lot of time putting outfits together and saving up for dresses that she really wants. It's no different than, collecting baseball cards or anything like that. And that's, considered a normal collecting hobby. So it's really good to think of Lolita as a type of collector's investment, because there's certain types of dresses that only so many are made, and the value can go up based on, how rare the dress is and stuff like that. So that is something to remember. Don't be like, how much did you spend on that dress? Or I think it's really silly that you spent so much on a dress, because there might be something worth collecting that you would spend so much money on. Lolita just happens to be the thing she wants to spend her money on. Number 2, Lolita is competitive. It can be as competitive as professional sports, if you really want to think about it that way, if you're, a sportsy guy. Because there are only so many types of dresses made and the different prints and styles and things like that, Lolita can become kind of crazy in that regard because every girl wants to have the best outfit and every girl wants to kind of have her 15 minutes of fame on the internet where, she's got the print that everyone wants, stuff like that. So keep in mind that she's investing a lot of money and time into this hobby because it's important for her to feel good and look good, and she's kind of in a way in, friendly competition with other Lolitas around her. I'm not saying it's necessarily like a blood sport and girls are, killing each other to have certain stuff. Well, they might be, but, you get the idea, right? So be a supportive guy and, just spend some time with her on the internet and maybe, at least look at the dresses that she's interested in and maybe she can update you on, what's really in style in the Lolita community right now. That's always, a good, fun way to kind of spend time together. Now, number 3. Because Lolita can be competitive and because Lolita costs a lot of money, unfortunately, Lolita can become a drama in its own way. There can be some cattiness and backstabbing that goes on in the community, and, every Lolita has had their instance of drama in their life. Like, I got posted to CGL once because someone didn't like my coordinate. I've had, a Get Off EGL post written about me when I was new and just starting out and didn't really know things. So there can be, some bitchiness. So if that kind of stuff happens to her, you might not really understand what's going on, and you might think it's really ridiculous because it's all really happening on the internet, but try to just listen to her and be a good, positive support figure for her, because you're going to be that person that she wants to turn to and talk to about this when her feelings are hurt. Now, one of the first things you'll probably notice about Lolita fashion is that it has pretty much its own language system that consists of acronyms and abbreviations like JSK, OP, CUTSO, stuff like that. So you might not know any of what your girlfriend is talking about if she's, talking with other Lolitas. So if you really want to be an awesome, awesome boyfriend, maybe take it upon yourself to learn some of the fashion lingo or ask her to teach you some of it, because I'm sure she'd definitely be willing to if you asked her. Most guys kind of learn the ropes with time. I have a lot of guy friends, and obviously none of my guy friends are really into Lolita, but they at least can speak the lingo just from being around me and listening to me talk to other Lolitas. So it is possible to pick it up just by immersion, in a sense. The last big point I want to make has to do with meetups and involvement in the community. Now, this is a pretty important point, so I hope you guys are definitely taking notes on this. Lolitas like to have meetups, they like to get together, and they like to do things together, and they normally revolve around, like, certain activities that will be considered Lolita, like afternoon tea, going to museums, stuff like that. Now, most guys, especially my own boyfriend, will say that they really would rather do other things with their Saturday afternoon than go drink tea and eat tiny sandwiches. That might be, my idea of a good time, but it's definitely not my boyfriend's. It's probably not an idea of a good time to a lot of guys, to be honest. But, think of it this way. A lot of girls will, at least go along with guys when they want to do something for themselves. Like, if a guy wants to go see a game, the girl will happily tag along with him. I'm not saying that guys should bend over backwards and attend every single Lolita meetup with their girlfriend. I'm saying that maybe for meetups that are a little more casual, it might not hurt to go along and at least get a feel for how the subculture works and meet some of her Lolita friends. Because you might be surprised. You might actually become real life friends with some of the other girls or some of the other girls' boyfriends. It's all about, just giving it a shot and not being quick to judge something just because you don't really know a lot about it. I'm seriously hoping that this video kind of helped out a lot of guys who might be kind of struggling to understand, what this whole new subculture is like and how they can, be a part of that with their girlfriends. Just to kind of rehash, key points to remember, briefly. It's expensive. It's a big commitment financially and with time, so be supportive. There can be drama, so, be willing to be a good listener. And don't be afraid to go with her to some of the events because you might actually find yourself having a good time. But, Lolitas, this is for you to keep in mind. Don't expect him to just delve into this whole new world that he knows nothing about. Don't force him to, go to every single meetup with you because, you gotta consider his feelings. He might really would rather do other things with his Saturday. So, remember that. And last but not least, don't make judgments or negative comments about something you don't know a lot about. Don't sit there and say, oh, you look like a little girl. Don't be negative. Be supportive because this is something that the girl of your dreams really, really enjoys. As usual, if you liked this video and want to stay updated on my life and all the random things I like to say on the internet, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Also check out my Facebook page to see my modeling portfolio and stay in touch with me. Hope to see you around.